5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello everybody. I suppose I am streaming by now. This is my journal entry from yesterday. It is a new day. @J. Execute my macro. So, hello world again. It's 6:30 a.m. and I'm already at least one stream in. I did this one already today, where I refined the crawl function inside of Pipulate. And I am using my persists function in order to drop a unvisited and visited pickle onto the drive, onto the storage inside the repo. So that kind of stuff just shows up. I guess, here, let me, I think I can break off this tab. Are these tabs break offable? No, it doesn't let you do that. But I'm tired of switching between these tabs. So I'm going to go to one more screen, Control-Alt-T. And I think I'll put Pipulate here. So it's already loaded over in this one. So I'm just going to put out of this, exit. So I'm just down to the one tab, which is my Python SEO directory, where you can see I've got these pickle files here accumulating, but it's a little bit worse because anytime I use the persist function, it drops it right into the repo here. There's an accumulating number of example notebooks in this repo, which I'll probably put into a notebook subfolder at some point, maybe. But there is definitely a need to get the pickle files under control. There's a default pickle, and PKL and PICKLE are the same types of files, serialized Python objects that can be loaded immediately back into Python as ready-to-use objects in memory, similar to JSON objects in JavaScript, but they're just called objects in Python. So, the subject of this video is to use subfolders inside this repo location. My current working directory, CWD, PWD. Let's see, PWD. Yeah, my current working directory is Python SEO. So I want to make dir inside of there pickles ls.la. So you can see now there is a pickles directory, which you can see it's a directory by the D there. Some other directories inside are the IPython notebook checkpoint save location, automatically made, the GitHub repo location, and the current directory and the directory above. Those are shortcut notations. Okay, so Pipulate. I want to point out that inside the Pipulate location, I am already loading, I am sure, because I'm using it so much, pathlib. But no, I am in fact not using it here. So from pathlib, I want to import path. Path, it's uppercase path. And I just happen to know that because I've been doing it so much. And there is a article on the internet that's really teaching me about pathlib as opposed to using the OS. So at this point in these sorts of projects, when you're trying to do this sort of organization, there's really either importing OS and using all these methods of OS in order to do, joins of path locations, and it's a horrible mess. But the modern way to do it is to import pathlib, but there's so little that I really need from pathlib, and I like to use the shorthand notation instead of typing pathlib.Path all the time. I just want to type path. So what you do is from pathlib import path, and so now you have a path object. And a couple of things at this point. I'm going to find that article. Python pathlib one-liner. I believe that's what I was searching for when I found this great article. Yep, here it is on realpython.com. This is a wonderful article that shows you how you would do os.path.is file and joining, and it's just a horrible mess. This is makes for ugly code. But with pathlib, you can just add paths together, and it works. So see this slash here? That's important to keep in mind, because I can do path.home arbitrary slash and then things, and it will append it together, and I have a bunch of methods like isFile, creating paths, current working directory, enabling Windows paths. And this is the important thing for me to keep in mind. I guess I can do .home first. So what it seems to be telling me here, and of course this should be my first tab, pathlib, or it's path.home. Okay, so that's my home directory. That's not really what I want. Let's just see what my CWD is, current working directory. Yeah, that's more like it. So that's my location where I'm doing stuff. Now, if I do current working directory with a slash and with pickles, that is a fully qualified location. See how much nicer that is than doing all those joins and stuff? It's really quite amazing. It identifies it as a Windows path. It'll deal with the / and / conversion across different operating systems. I'm creating code that'll be compatible on a Mac or not have ambiguities when I bring it over to the Windows script subsystem for Linux. So think it through. Think it through. Whenever you use the persist function, what you're really doing is putting things into the pickles folder of the current location. Although I don't want to take away people's options and create the mysterious behavior. Using subdirectories like that should always be a deliberate thing. So let's see how we would apply that to, well, just the populate library directly. So if I were to create some arbitrary dict equals curly bracket some key, some value. So we're sitting on top of an arbitrary dict with some key and some value. And if you put some key in, you'll get out some value. Of course, it is subscriptable. It's a dictionary. So what did I do wrong? Oh, it's a set. So I just used a comma instead of a colon. Stupid Python mistakes. That's more like it. And live broadcasting. Okay, so now I have a dictionary that I can pickle using. And I'll add a bunch of these things to just push that up to the middle of the screen for better video purposes. Now I can populate, persist, because I want it to persist on the drive, see? And it's some arbitrary dict. And I give it a pickle name, but now I can use this technology here to put it in a location. Now, it might be a little verbose, but I can make a location thing above it. So I can call it, pickle file equals my current working directory, the pickle subdirectory, and the file name. That's some pickle. And so now that should be able to be used here. And now I just made the arbitrary dictionary in that subfolder location. Did I? Well, let's cd into pickles. And look, yay, there is some pickle. And that opens the door to a lot of better housekeeping. So I'm going to immediately use that in the crawl function because I make pretty heavy use of pickles here. So I constantly am loading and saving, and every time I have these string locations, remember I made an argument for strings because it's nice to look at it. You know, what's the difference between a string and a variable and a constant? If what you're doing is, you want to see it used consistently. So in this case, it was very nice to use those string values, but that time is past. I now need unvisited equals path.current working directory slash pickles slash unvisited.pkl. The other one is going to be very similar, but it's going to be visited. And so now I want to use the unvisited and visited variables anytime I have these strings. So I highlight the area in my function. I'm going to do the search and replace. I hit colon to initiate the search and replace. I hit S to tell it it's going to be a search and replace. Slash to start the process. O and F. Interesting. \.pkl, just to be sure, because a dot by itself has a regular expression meaning. And we're going to be replacing that with on the ISITD global CC confirm. And so everywhere there was a, and did I do it right? Visited, unvisited, 4 substitutions. I'm going to undo that and redo it just to see the before and after. Oh yeah, I see what I did wrong. I left out a trailing quote, so it sort of messed it up. We do that over again. That trailing quote needs to be replaced. And that looks a lot better. Now we're going to do the same with visited. Of course, it got that one as well, so I am going to just undo that search and replace and start the search and replace over from beneath that line. That's more like it. Don't want to introduce a bug. So visited is similar, and I want to do its search and replace. It's almost the same, but wherever I see unvisited, I want just the word wherever I see the word visited, like pick the pickle string, I want the variable name visited. And there. That should now allow me to do a crawl, but now all the links are going to be going into, let's make sure I'm not reusing variable names visited, because that's a list. Ooh. Yes. Almost introduced a bug of colliding variable names. So I am going to undo both of those. That has it back to where it's the string for visited and unvisited. I can tell because there's unvisited, there's the visited ones. And these, lists here, these here are lists. Okay. Loaded in and out, so it's the same. But there's a file name in here, so it's a little bit verbose, but definitely avoids collisions. Okay. But that means I need to re-perform my 2 search and replaces. First one on unvisited.pkl becomes unvisited file name. And then the next one, I see that spelling mistake I'll have to fix, but first I'm going to do the visited pkl visited file name. I fix that one misspelling here. So there's the unvisited file name, and there's the visited file name. It no longer collides with these variable names, but it is used each place as it should be used. And it makes a lot of sense. A little harder to read than it used to be, but not bad. Save it. Back over here. Now all that stuff we did to get the pathlib in there, I'm just going to wipe that out. We don't need this. We don't need it hanging around as reminders and tutorial files. But I will do a re-import. In fact, I'll hit escape 00 to restart the kernel. nuke the place from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. Now we re-import Pipulate. And I'll do a crawl of my own site. I've done the New York Times enough. Although it's an interesting day to do it. We'll learn more about how the Iowa caucus is turning out. Okay, links equals pipulate.crawl https://miclev.in. That's my own site. Oh, let's see what's wrong. I'll try it at the Times, after all. Don't want to introduce new factors. Should work, but I'm thinking I have some error. Oh, no, it was definitely my site. Might be the HTTPS. I'll check that out afterwards. Oh, nope. Definitely not doing what it should. The unvisited pickle is in there. I don't see the visited pickle in there. cd less clear ls.la remove star.pkl clear ls.la. Okay. We're going to try it once more and take a look at where the visited and unvisited ends up. Before I do, I will take a look here and just make sure I am oh, that's of course the reason. You people who are watching this are probably like, you gotta call that visited. You're right, I do have to call that visited. Jeez. Okay. I won't restart the kernel, but I will re-import Pipulate and start the crawl again. Oh, this is much more like it. And as it's going, I can... Hello, Billy. I got my kitties here next to me. And Billy is a 14-year-old, somewhat sick kitty. Say hi, Billy. Put him down here so he feels like he's involved. He's good, Billy. You can stay. Oh, there we go. We'll be seeing these file sizes fluctuate. I'm going to remove some pickle. It doesn't need to be there anymore. And we'll do it a few times to see these file sizes change, just as expected, which will be reflected with these numbers that we see changing here. Crawl is done. So you can see this is all it takes to do a lightweight crawl of a site now. You import Pipulate, and which is of course just this line here. Even though I have those 3 lines, that's because I'm doing it like development work. I'm loading it from a sibling directory to my current repo, and then I'm setting links equal to Pipulate crawl, site name, and it does a little crawl. And now we have a populated link's location. And that was a little piece of housekeeping that I needed to do that used the pathlib. So this is that innovation right there. And I could make that enforced sort of everywhere with where pickles and persists is used, but I don't think I'm going to do that by convention. I just need to be able to do it on demand. Now, while I have the path here, I will create the directory because this crawl function could be used somewhere where it wasn't used before and that directory doesn't exist. So it's if, we'll look at that article. It's going to show you the old way to do an exist check, I'm sure. There's not destination exists. Through pathlib. Move the file to place and to avoid possibly overwriting, check whether the destination exists. But I want to definitely check if the directory exists. So much that can be done. I'll do it in here first. Some path equals path dot current working directory slash foo. Oh, yeah, we got to import path. From pathlib, import path, some path dot exists. Path dot maker, some path. We called it foo. cd dot dot lsla. There's our foo location. rm rf foo. Don't need it around, but now that I see how it works, all I have to do is say over here in the pipulate code, if okay, see that prefix? We want that to be the pickle dir. Pickles equals yank. Oops. I'll just hit D for delete, P for paste. If pickles, if not, pickles dot exists path.mixter pickles. Now this should be pickles. Pickles. So as you can see, the crawl function is becoming a little bit larger. Some housekeeping. But it's worth it for the benefit that it provides, so that everything isn't ending up in the same exact location, even if it's just to have example code to look at for different naming conventions, because maybe I'll make directories that are the same as the site that I'm crawling, so that I can keep the pickle files for multiple crawls inside one repo. You don't know. That might be something I might be interested in doing. But at any rate, one of the easy things to do now to test it is to restart and clear output. Of course, my opinion is, when is a good time to restart and clear output? Now is always a good time to restart and clear output. Look how much cleaner it makes your Python, your IPython notebook, your Jupyter notebook. And I left a colon off of an if statement. And in fact, to further test it, I'll remove the whole pickles location. Clear ls-la. So there is no pickles subdirectory, and we don't have any cached crawl data yet. So import pipulate, which will actually work this time. And start doing the crawl. It has no Windows Path object has no attribute exists. Path.cwd. Path.cwd slash something. Path.cwd slash something exists. Right? Let's try it here. Check the type of some path. It's a Windows path. Windows path has no attribute exists. Some path dot exists. Well, it certainly looks like it has an attribute here. What am I doing wrong? Pickles equals path.current working directory slash pickles. If let's try if not some path exists, path.mixter some path. Yeah, okay, I get the same error there, but I can check whether some path exists. Oh, there's no attribute exists. Now I get that there. EXISTS. Let's see, some path.exists. False. Some path.exists. What am I doing wrong? EXI exits. Ah! Boy, this must be painful to watch for you guys. Of course, this is a continuing argument for more capable IDEs, which do command line completion, so you always know you're sitting on top of the right object. But Vim will be with you your entire life. Alright, so now ls-la, you'll see there's no pickle subdirectory, and now there is. It'll get created on demand when it's needed, and all that visited and unvisited stuff here is going on in that location here. Of course, those change file sizes until the crawl is done, and that gives me now my location for the next step in this project, which is to record the offsite links. And I think I'll just go ahead and do that as part of this stream. There's no reason to break it up into more multiple substreams. I mean, pathlib does deserve its own video on its own, and I'll probably make this video about pathlib as opposed to the visited links, because all I'm really doing now is creating one more of these. It's too much to pack together. I will be creating one more of these pickle files, visited and unvisited. There's going to be an offsite one. So that sets the stage really for the next video, where I'll be returning more than just visited. I'll be returning all the offsite links that it accumulates in the course of the crawl. But now I have pathlib incorporated and some housekeeping going on, so that I can use that technique more and more places, so that I can keep my repo locations from getting too polluted. So I'll save that, drop out, git commit, crawl, pickles, go into subfolders, git push, cd.dot, then setup 5.6, to 5.7, and release. Git status, git add offsite links, git commit, offsite links notebook, git push. Both of the repos are updated. Pipulate, which is the Swiss Army knife tool that I'm using for doing all this stuff, and Python SEO, which is the example of using the Swiss Army knife. So again, just so that you understand, there's a relationship going on here with my repos, the Python SEO directory, where I'm actually using the Pipulate library, and then the pipdev, which is, just another repo where I'm actually doing my Pipulate development work, mostly all inside a file inside here, inside here. I mean, I could load it. It would just be a .py file that is being loaded into Jupyter Notebook, but Vim is a much better text editing environment for this sort of stuff. You don't have to close and halt because it doesn't get loaded into memory as a notebook when you do that. So I'll just go back to Python SEO. That's where I want to be. And you can see the green one is the one that's currently loaded into memory, which is the one which is in tab 1. And yeah, to restart and clear output. And I guess I can demonstrate to you as a last step that the crawl is actually stored on drive and is still quite accessible. So if I wanted to, say links equals, well, Python manipulate persists, because I know it persists, but now actually you do want to do this. And now one of the downsides of doing the subfolders is that you actually have to deal with them. So from pathlib, import path, and now when you load something, you actually have to, use its fully qualified location. So it is in path.current working directory / pickles / visited.pkl. Links. I did not have to re-execute the crawl. And there it all is now, loaded into memory again. And I'm starting to get comfortable using pathlib to define these locations in operating system independent ways. This / works just as well on Windows because you're going through the pathlib library and all the operating system dependent / path conversions are being done, so you don't have to rely on the operating system library and tons of these joins. This is the equivalent of doing joins. This is like 2 join statements, 1 join statement, another join statement. But as we see, APIs are arbitrary, and it's however the API is programmed to work by the Python component or package, in which case, in this case, the pathlib is creating the syntax where you can just arbitrarily append together variables and strings using slashes, and it knows to step in and do all the magic. So that's what this video is really about. And I guess I'll stop there because that is such a salient point. It will improve your Python coding skills enormously if you embrace pathlib today over things like OS and os.join and os.exists and all that. This is a nicer package and interface for file manipulation work. Thanks for joining me. Hope to see you again soon, and don't forget to subscribe.